to start off with, let's not start off with a bow.
Okay.
And we'll just work on positioning with the violin on our shoulders.
Okay.
So go ahead and put up your violin for me. I just want to see it. Okay. So now one thing that I want you to think about is the violin kind of needs to be an extension of your shoulder.
Okay.
So instead of having the violin come out kind of front and your shoulder be sticking that way, try to have it come up a little bit higher on your shoulder.
Okay.
And then,
like that?
Yeah, that's really good. How does that feel? A little bit unstable?
Yeah. I don't know if my shoulder, if this thing is like correctly heightened.
It could probably be a little bit longer for your neck.
Okay.
So maybe if you want to.
Yeah. Like this one, this side, or does it have?
I think both sides, honestly.
Sides, okay.
Yeah. So just, sides off the back. I have one of those too, so see how. Oops. I'm so sorry. I'll see how high I can make mine. Because one thing you want is, you don't want to like clamp down on the instrument, but you really want it to be just about like, you just turn your head over and you just set it on top, and then that's like the rest of it.
Is this doing anything? Oh yeah.
It should be. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit longer already. My violin teacher told me I needed this one because I have an awkwardly long neck. So
how nice.
I know, it was a really great thing to hear when I was in high school. It's like, oh, thanks, Dawn, you're the best.
Oh, she twisted it too much.
There you go.
Okay.
Let's try that. And one thing you want to do when you're holding a violin is you want to hold it completely with your neck. So you want to be able to like wave this arm around, wave to all your fans, smile at your peers.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you're holding everything, and that's one reason why having a taller shoulder rest will help that a little bit. And I think yours is on backwards. If I you want the divot side to be over by the shoulder rest. Okay. Take two.
Okay.
This is gonna work. I always hold it in between my legs and then I shove it on, so that makes sense. Why it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
How does that feel?
It feels better.
Yay! Okay, so now we've. Nice! Okay, so that's your goal. You really want to be able to just hold your violin, just with your chin. And then another thing that's very important is having a straight back. You don't want to overextend your back, but just that it's a nice straight line.
Okay.
And that looks really, really good. How does it feel now?
Better.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Well, it looks solid. So let's go ahead and pick up the bow, and we'll just do some nice whole bows on some of the open strings. This is something. Let's check the tightness of your bow, I guess, first. One thing that I've always been told is you should have almost a pinky width apart from the stick.
So I should do a little bit tighter.
And you'll really begin to feel the resistance. I'd go even tighter if possible. Maybe 1 or 2 cranks.
Nice. Like that?
Yeah, that's perfect. So one thing when we're just gonna do some whole bows on the A string.
Okay.
And one thing that I want you to think about and focus on is don't worry about the tone quality. It's gonna sound scratchy. It's gonna sound a little bit rough. It does all the time. And in fact, I want you to put pressure on the instrument so it sounds that way.
Okay.
We're both gonna be doing it. It'll be uncomfortable, but it'll be fun.
Okay.
So go ahead and place your bow up on the string, as near to the frog as you can.
Sorry. Oh, okay.
And then I want you to go ahead and just make a nice long bow down, adding like kind of some weight or just some pressure from your arm onto the bow. Nice, that was beautiful. Okay, let's do it again. And then we're gonna go up. Okay, and then do it again. That sounds great. That's beautiful. One thing that I think is a little bit disgruntling is when you hear the crunch here, it doesn't sound as bad. literally.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if I like was to make like a really like crunchy sound, you wouldn't be able to hear that nearly as well as I could.
Okay.
So remember that your ear is literally so close.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
the more, like the stronger tone quality that you make, you may hear a little bit of like crunch. Not everybody's gonna hear that. So
Okay.
let's do that a couple more times. And something that I want you to think about is not. I don't really know how to word this. We're gonna work on this arm.
Okay.
I want you to imagine that your arm is sitting on a beach ball.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like kind of nice and light and fluffy. You want it to be even with just like a nice box. You don't want it to be docked low. You don't want it to be too high, but you want it to be sitting on an imaginary beach ball. And then as you pull, imagine that weight is coming from this part of your arm and adding force into the string. Does that make sense?
Okay. So just this part of my arm is moving, or like what part of my arm is moving when I?
Yeah, just that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. That was a lot to think about, but
Okay.
I believe in you. Okay, do it one more time. This time imagine that your elbow is weighing into the beach ball.
Okay.
So kind of
When I
add
go
some.
down. Okay.
Really nice. Okay, now play your A. I'm gonna tune you. Okay, cool. So does that make sense? Okay. It really sounds beautiful. You're doing a wonderful job.
Okay. Thank you.
One thing to think about when you're practicing is when you bow, you want a lot of weight to like come into the string. You don't want it to be like light and fluffy.
Yeah.
That's just gonna like bounce. It'll sound bad. But add a lot of weight.
Okay.
And then another thing is when you're looking in a mirror, and like I don't know if you have a mirror in your room or something. One thing to make sure is that your bow is going nice and straight. You don't want it to be going crooked.
When I'm doing that, I kind of feel it like I'm not like trying to go crooked, but it kind of I don't know what I'm doing that's making it kind of go sideways.
Yeah, it literally happens all the time. It still happens to me today, and I've done this for a while. One thing to kind of work on that is to stand like in front of a mirror and to just do long, slow down bows. It really helps with bow control. And then imagine like your forgot what this is called, but this is a highway. What is this called?
The bridge? That thing?
It's like in between the bridge and the fingerboard.
Oh, okay.
Just the place where you're not supposed to touch with your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, imagine that this is a highway and you want your bow to go right down the middle, nice and straight.
Okay.
So that's just something to practice in front of a mirror.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so let's look at your bow hand. Is that okay? So
Yeah.
we'll put down our islands for a second. And then could you show me your bow hold?
Yeah. So my thumb kind of locks in like this a lot. And so does my pinky. It's supposed to be like curved, but I end up going like this.
Flat.
Yeah.
So one thing can I show you how I initially learned to put my hand on the bow? So I'm gonna go ahead and take your bow. So I'm gonna be controlling. I want you just to sit there and kind of shake out your hand, make it like a rag doll.
Okay.
Nice and floppy. Nice. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and control your arm.
Okay.
Oh, wow. This is impressive. Usually people are like super stiff and like, and I'm like, no, loosen up. Like you're pretty loose. This is good. Okay. So I'm gonna take this bow, and your fingers are just gonna sit here, and I'm going to flop it on top of the bow.
Okay.
And give me the weight of your arm. There you go. And then I'm gonna put your fingers in like a position of
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay, let's go ahead and try this. So I just saw your fingers trying to grab the bow. Don't do that. Okay. Okay. Nice ragdoll. And then I'm going to put the bow right under your fingers. Do you feel that weight? How you're kind of just like leaning on the stick?
Yeah.
That's what you want to feel.
Okay.
Your fingers are a little bit far forward. I did that. But you want to feel like you're kind of pressing in, or at least there's a good amount of weight as you're kind of weighing in on the stick. So how does that feel?
Feels weighty.
Feels weighty. Yeah, that's where you're going to get a lot of your power from your tone.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and kind of position your hand. As you know, your thumb is going to be bent, and you're going to grab this portion of, that's called the nut? That's not the nut. I don't know what it's called.
The part before it goes in.
Yeah,
That
so,
part. I don't remember what it's called.
so this is called the frog. It's right in front of the frog.
Okay.
So you're going to grab that part. Your pinky is going to be nice and curled. Go ahead and make sure that you're trying to apply that weight still on the stick. You're doing a great job. These two fingers are going to just do this. They're just going to sit here, and they're going to be the main forces of like heaviness on the bow.
Okay.
And then this little guy, he's going to just kind of lean on the stick.
Okay. So
you're going to want him right there. I'm going to move these guys. So they are touching the stick right in the middle of your knuckle right there. And then this is actually going to be on that ridge. And go ahead and, how does that feel? Go ahead and hold the stick yourself.
Okay.
How does it feel? A little bit awkward, a little bit weird?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Just takes getting used to probably.
I think one thing that maybe helps me is feeling, go ahead and hold your stick yourself. Go ahead and hold it a little bit closer, because I'm going to be having you put some pressure on this.
Okay.
So I want you to drop every other finger but these two middle ones. So you're going to just kind of let those two, and I want you just to sink into the stick.
Okay.
So that's where the majority of your pressure is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
These two are strictly for balance.
Okay.
So when you're down at the frog, and you're playing down here, this is where you're going to be feeling kind of like some balance from this first finger. When you're all the way up here at the tip, you'll be balancing a lot with your pinky. Okay. And this thumb is just going to be happy and just holding it, kind of touching your finger right there.
Okay.
On the front of the frog. For some reason, I don't know what that's called, but okay. So let's go ahead and I'll put your fingers in those positions again, and then I'm going to have you take a couple bows, and we'll see how that feels. But go ahead and ragdoll your hand, and then I can go ahead and grab your stick. Okay. I want you to flop your hand on the stick. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Flop. Nice. That's the type of like
nice
loose weight. Nice and floppy. Nice. Draw it like a ragdoll. So then you're going to curve your pinky. Okay. This is going to be bent underneath, and you're going to keep everything just nice and loose, just like that. These two guys can kind of be close together.
Okay.
How does that feel?
That's good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A little bit interesting. Are you feeling some weight in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm feeling it in those.
Cool. So one thing that to have good bow control, one exercise that you can do is I want you to hold your bow like this, straight up and down.
Okay.
And I want you to walk like a spider up and down the stick. This is one of the hardest things to do, and you know you've mastered your bow hold when you can do this in both directions. Who knows if I'll be able to still go up. But we're getting there. So one thing you want to focus on is keeping that pinky nice and rounded. That thumb is still bent. Sarah, you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
When I was young, my violin teacher told me that if I dropped my bow at all, including during this exercise, I'd have to buy her Snickers. So I bought her like 6 Snickers in the times that I was her student.
Oh my gosh, going down was so hard.
It's very, very hard. It takes a lot of control. You're doing great. It just keeps, it just keeps sliding out.
Yeah, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to keep.
You're doing a great job. Way to go. I still see that nice and rounded pinky. Your thumb is still bent. Sarah, this is beautiful.
Thanks.
Was that a cheating? I just saw just a little from your knee.
Yeah.
Okay, and then bring yourself back into that position with your thumb nice and tucked underneath. These 2 fingers, you kind of want it to look like this from the underside. These 2 fingers are going to be right there, kind of in the center of that pad of these knuckles.
Okay.
This guy's going to be resting almost in that knuckle, I guess. So maybe bring him just a little bit farther forward.
Okay.
From out here to in here. Curl him around a little bit, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And then Can you go ahead and flip over your bow for me? And let's see a bent thumb. Oh, you got him. There you go. That's beautiful, Sarah. That's wonderful.
Thanks.
So you can do this exact same thing up here, and it's a little bit easier, especially with the balance of the bow. This is just awkward because now you have a big weighty card that you're holding on to. It's a completely different balance. So, yeah, that looks beautiful.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Check the time. 15. Okay.
So let's go ahead and take some long bows,
Okay.
and then maybe we could try playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Let's do it.
So go ahead and take your violin. Feel free to stick it up on your shoulder. And we're just going to place the bow on the strings and just hold it there for a second. So think about having these two fingers together, kind of as buddies.
Okay.
So they're almost touching. Your nice bent pinky and a bent thumb underneath.
My thumb is sticking out too much.
How do you feel?
I think it's okay.
You feel like you're gonna drop it?
Maybe.
That happens sometimes. Took me 6 months to get there, so. Okay, let's just go ahead and take a nice long bow. And then we'll go back up.
I'm touching 2 strings.
So maybe when it happens, go ahead and think about dropping your elbow level just a little bit.
Okay.
Sarah, that's beautiful. That was wonderful. Way to go. Okay, let's go ahead and try that on the E string now. Just nice 2 long bows.
Why is this so...
Just go ahead and make that crunch. Make it. Yep, there you go. At the froggy, it's a little bit crunchy. There you go. Beautiful. That was really good. I don't know where that would be coming from.
The crunch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when you're just down at the frog. So go ahead and do that again.
Does it need rosin?
I mean, potentially. Sometimes it could be a weight coming from a specific area of your bow hand. But I'm not really sure. That's one thing that you can just kind of like workshop as you're practicing.
Okay.
Feel like what makes that sound, what doesn't make that sound, make minor adjustments, and then you can like see if you can kind of figure out why that's happening. Let's go ahead and play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Okay.
So how would you go ahead and play it for me, what you know already?
Okay, with the bow or just plucking?
Do you know how to do it with the bow?
I've done it with the bow.
Do you want to do it with
Yeah,
the bow?
I'll try it with the bow.
Yay! So let's go ahead and play it together. And something I want you to try is using a little bit longer bows. Okay. So use more bow.
Okay.
The more bow, the better.
Okay.
So nice full long bows.
Okay.
You start, I'll follow you.
Okay.
Sarah.
Thanks.
Okay. So go ahead and when you're practicing that, I would really suggest using nice long bows and try to use as much bow as possible.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and play the first line of that song again, and I'm going to verbalize to you when I want you to use more bow.
Okay.
It's not yelling, it's just
Yeah.
suggested. Okay.
Okay.
Long. Good job. That was really good. One thing that I would do is I'd try to make it from the frog to the tip, to the frog to the tip.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like omitting that much
Okay.
at each end, but just try to get from like there to like there.
Okay.
So really long
bow.
bows.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh.
That's good. That sounded beautiful.
Okay.
That was good. How did that feel?
Better actually. I was less. Other than that one part, it seemed less squeaky.
That's good. Sometimes, yeah, just drawing out the bows helps you figure out your bow control, and then also gives you a stronger tone. So
yeah.
that's one thing that I would work on for the whole song.
Okay.
How are we doing?
Oh, right at 20 minutes.
Yay! Okay, can we try something really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead and play that. I'm gonna see if I can play a harmony along with you.
Okay. Just the whole song, or just the okay. Ready, go.
Yay! That was great. Okay, you are a rock star. You're
Awesome.
doing such a good job.
Thank you.